Oh, yeah, major concern. uh, Good question. I don't know what it is, Dana. You can look at a couple different ways. You know, we're giving up a lot of points. There's no doubt about it. But you have to look up how you're giving up those points. Teams are shooting 62% from the inside the paint. That is an extremely high number. Extremely high number. So you have to identify the problem. Most of the problem is on dribble penetration, our inability to guard the ball. Uh, I'm not an excuse guy. I'm not in the excuse business. There is no excuses for that. But I do think with the lack of healthy bodies at the point guard position, usually that's kind of the head of the snake. Not only running the offense, but also playing defense. Usually your point guard's the guy that's going to get the guy out of the middle. So it's a big, big concern. It's got to get corrected. I thought in the Canisius game and the Kent State game, I thought we had 3 minutes of bad basketball towards the end of each half. With a young, erratic, inexperienced team, when you don't see success going into halftime, it's hard to win in the second half. I thought in Kent we led for 18 minutes, and boom, we're down 5 at the half because we had 2 bad minutes. Canisius were down 8, and then it transpired into down 15. I was very, very happy with their kids not giving up in the second half. I thought they showed a lot of heart, but we're just a little erratic. We're very young. You look out there, you see 4 and 5 young players, and there's no college experience until we get healthy. Ferguson will play this weekend, not practicing again today, but he'll go tomorrow. Light practice, can't play in the game. And that'll give us another body. That'll give us somebody that can handle the ball.
How does the conditioning come along? How do you think you
You know what? I think with so much teaching, I probably did a bad job of getting them in condition. I think sometimes, we're teaching these guys how to go through a walkthrough for the first time, how to watch tape the way we do it. You're just teaching so much, John. We probably did a bad job of letting them get up and down. But I thought I didn't think conditioning was as bad. But when you don't have the bodies that you want to play 9 or 10 and you're down a couple bodies, it's hard. You put so much pressure on those young players. You look at Naz Bohannon, he's playing too many minutes. You know what I mean? But right now, we didn't have the bodies. So we hope to get some of those guys back.
Speaking of that, Tyree did play Canisius. Some other guys didn't play. He was a guy averaging double digits for you.
Yeah, one of the things, Dana, I think about coaching is mentoring these guys to become young men. There's 2 parts to playing at a university. You have to be a student athlete. So I take very, very seriously the way we prepare each day. Not only on the basketball court, not in this facility, but when you're walking around our campus, when you're representing not only yourself, your family, but your basketball family. And I wasn't happy with some of the things academically. We've addressed those. We'll move on from those. And I think Tyree learned a lesson because there's nothing worse than letting your teammates down. Forget your coaches, but when you really care about a teammate and you don't do what you're supposed to do, you don't fulfill your student-athlete obligation, then as the head coach, I can't allow you to play. I can't do that. I can't go to bed at night knowing that we're not living up to the 2 parts.
Jerrod, how are somebody or who are some of the players that are trying to help you as coaches, instill some of this into these players?
I think Santiago's been really, really good. We do a plus-minus chart each game. It kind of shows you your production when you were in there, what you did, and then what you did with your teammates while you're on the court. I think it's a real good indication in basketball what lineups you should play. I think analytics plays a lot of part of that. But he's done a really good job for what he's dealing with. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy on our team. It's kind of, you're playing with an injured quarterback. in football terms. So he's been good, but he can't get the practice reps. So you're got Cisco not practicing all the time. You've got Jeremiah Ferguson hasn't practiced in over a week. It's difficult. As I told our staff, I told our players, and I'll tell them again today, we've been throwing a lot here early in the season, but life's about how you respond to it, and that's why I told Tyree, I hope he responds and plays really well in Sioux Falls, and, you live and learn. Right now, we got old guys in the program, we got new guys, we're trying to mesh them together, we're dealing with injuries. It's part of the process, Nobody's going to feel sorry for us. We've got to find a way to win some games.
So what you said, Jerrod, Tyree will not play tomorrow again?
No, he's playing. Yeah, he'll play. Yeah.
Said, how do you keep your guys, focused on theirs, light down the
Well, you're 3 games into the season. You're going to play 4 games in 6 days. So it can be either really good. This week we could come in here next Monday, guys, and we could all smile because I think you guys all love the Penguins. Or we could say, we won 2-2, we went 1-3, we go 0-4. We're playing a Westminster team. It's got all local kids. These kids are coming in here. They don't care about the big bad Penguins. They're going to come in here and try to beat us. And if you don't prepare and aren't ready to play, you'll lose. But just keeping perspective, John. You got to have small victories. It starts in practice. It starts getting Jeremiah back. That'll be a huge victory for me. I just had him in my office. I just gave him a big hug and said, I cannot wait to get you back on the court because we need bodies. So we got a lot of games left.
How's he adjusting with that mask on?
He's got something on. It's like it's really hard for him to sleep. He's been battling that. He's sitting up in a rocking chair trying to put himself to sleep. It's no fun. I don't know if you've ever broke your nose or have players, but it's anything on your face, it's a pain in the butt. Who wants to have a broken nose? Or it's just not good. I feel bad for him.
Jerrod, it's not your DNA, but how are you dealing with this stuff?
I hate to lose, Dana. I'm a competitor, buddy. I've been real fortunate. I mean, the last time I lost was as a player at Cleveland State. So you're looking at Walsh. Great success, 85 wins in 3 years. You're looking at West Virginia, NCAA tournament every year. You're looking at Fairmont, it's hard. You don't sleep. Got to do a better job of that. Got to exercise more. There's no doubt about it. But, right now you're worried about your seniors. So that's what I think about, trying to connect to those guys to get them to help not only themselves but the other guys because, we're down to 28 games for those guys, and I don't know, just trying to keep things in perspective, Dana. The biggest thing outside your players are your fans. It's when you come in and you just go 100 miles an hour and you're building a culture and you're fundraising and you're, we're now in the Success After 6, mentoring kids. There's nothing more you want to do is to win for not only your players in the program, but for the city of Youngstown. You want to give these people a winner that they've been dying for. But we got to get the disease of losing out of the program, Dana. You know what I mean? Like, just learn how to win, And I don't know, maybe it'll take longer than I thought because we've got injuries. But, I'm not giving up. I can tell you that. We're not in a total rebuild. I know we signed great players coming in next year. But we got to do a better job. I got to do a better job. The assistants got to do a better job. Everybody's got to do it together, and we can't feel sorry for ourselves.
Cam's only shot 30%.
The guy at Canisius, the radio guy up there, he asked me, he said, why do you think their beat writer, why do you think Braun Hartfield played so well? Well, Braun Hartfield had a great week of prep. Probably one of the best weeks I've seen maybe since I've gotten here. I've seen a lot of good players do it over the years, but he was in the gym early. He stayed late. He was watching tape. And then the kid comes out and he gets 33 and he should have had 40 as a sophomore, But I think preparation, I think Cam's just got to keep working. I saw him in the gym this morning working. He was getting extra shots. Right now he's 15 for 50. And as I told Cam, when you don't make shots, everything gets magnified. He's a scorer, so now you say, his defense is lacking. Cam's got to be Cam. Cam's got to relax. He's got to shoot the ball. He can't press. Just go play, and you got 4 games to do it this week. Get hot. and get yourself back to normal.
Are you saying he's like he wasn't, as in preparation as Braun is?
Yeah, you could. I don't know if I'd say that, but I would say anytime you're in a shooting slump or you're in a slump in general, the only way you get out of it by hard work. Work a little bit harder, and try to get yourself to the foul line. I would say that's the biggest thing for him, a scorer. He's got to get to the foul line. Once you get to the foul line, you make a couple shots. It seems like that gets you going.
You mentioned Westminster. Can you kind of talk about the threat that they pose? You also mentioned the local kids. Do you feel like you're always going to get their best shot because a lot of these kids probably expect it to be,
Well, looking at Westminster, they're 3-0. They've got guys on their roster that have been there before. Compared to my roster, we got a lot of new guys. I saw they're having a pregame party. I understand they bring 200-300 people. Most kids don't want to let down the people that are coming to watch them. Most kids look up to a Division I school and say, "Wow, I'd love to play there. I want to compete against those guys." I think this is a great game. I think we should play this one every year. This is one I do agree with because you have to have one in conjunction with the exempt tournament. It makes a lot of sense. When I got hired here, I asked around, who do you want to play in conjunction with our exempt tournament, because you get the 3 Division I games in South Dakota, and then you get one non-1. I would think we'd play these guys every year, whatever other exempt tournament we're going to play in. And it's their Super Bowl, and it should be our Super Bowl. We should be mad the way we played. We should come back wanting to work on the things that caused us problems against Canisius.
Jerrod, how do you approach this non-exempt tournament after tomorrow? Obviously, you got 3 games.
I'm excited, Dana. I don't know. I'm sure you've been out there for the football game, and I think it's a neat place. The memory I have was their mayor coming up to me after we lost the national title game. He was such a nice man and just really took pride in having that tournament out there. It's just a neat little venue, the Pentagon. It's got the parquet floor, and I think all the teams in the field are kind of mid-major teams that, I just heard the Northern Colorado coach say, hey, we're trying to blend old guys with new guys, and they're 1 and 2, and they're trying to find themselves. And Southern Miss, I'm sure they're the same way. South Dakota, I'd say, is a little bit better than the field because they won the regular season title. But I think it's going to be good to get out of Youngstown on Wednesday morning. We'll fly out, be a long day of travel. But I think it'd be good to spend Thanksgiving with these guys, with our basketball family, and have a chance to play 3 games in 3 days. And we're going to have a lot of guys step up with what we've had happen to us and the injuries. You're going to have to mix your defenses. You're going to have to play some man. You're going to have to play some zone. You're going to have to press. You have to do a lot. That's a lot of basketball. I don't care how many great players you have or how much depth you have. 3 games in 3 days, that's hard. So it's going to be a hard tournament, but it's going to be a fun tournament, I think.
You get Coach Molinari back this week.
Yeah, Paulie's back, yeah.
How good?
Paul's been with me for, I can't get rid of Paul. I tell you, he coached me at Cleveland State. He was on Raleigh's staff in 2000, so I had him 3 years there as a coach, and he was a pain in the butt, as much as pain in the butt as a assistant coach back then as he is now. Then, we've always stayed in contact with one another. He was with me for 5 years at Fairmont State. He's probably, other than my wife and my mother, he's probably a guy or a person that knows me more than anybody out there in the world. It's good to have him back. I think anytime you're taking over a program, there's going to be some mistakes made. I don't think any of those mistakes are intentional. In fact, I know they weren't intentional. So you live and you learn. We move on. He made a mistake, an honest mistake, but he's part of our coaching staff, and he does a tremendous job of not only the basketball side of things, but he really wants these kids to graduate. So he does a lot of the study halls. He does a lot of those things that take a lot of hours, But, yeah, we're happy to have him back.
What exactly did he do?
I don't want to get into it because I don't think it's kind of in the rearview mirror. But I will say this: I think it was an honest mistake. Kind of how what happens is when you self-report, those violations go to the NCAA. The NCAA, we're governed by the NCAA, right? Every university, every institution, and the NCAA can look deeper into things, right? So if it was a major problem, a level 1 or a level 2 violation, they're going to come back in here. They're going to say, we need to talk to Coach Calhoun, or we need to talk to you again, Coach Molinari. We need to get a little more in depth about this. So the NCAA stamped it and obviously said, hey, the 4-game suspension is plenty. End of story. So that's kind of how it went down. It's obviously not something you're going to make a continuous habit of happening, but I think in transition, we made a lot of mistakes. I mean, just trying to figure out where buildings were, and this is a total overhaul. You've overhauled a whole roster, a whole new university, a whole new place. There's some feeling out on certain stuff.
Who have you reached out to help you along with this process?
I tell you what, I had a great talk the other day with Randy Peel at Tennessee State. He's the old Winthrop coach. And he said, in year 1, we won 6 games, Jerrod. It was probably the most miserable year of basketball I've ever been associated with. He goes, and I was recruiting. He's the assistant coach down there, and I know the head coach well. And he said, in year 2, we won 20. I said, how did you get from 6 to 20? He said, establish the culture. You've got to do it your way. You've got to do it the way that you think you can be successful, and don't second-guess yourself. Do things right. If a guy's missing class, you got to hold him accountable, because that's what real life's about. If guys aren't running back on defense twice, my rule's twice. I don't mess with the guys on offense. You see they got freedom. But defensively, we're going to have to hold them a little more accountable. Two mistakes. You can't have 3. 3 get you beat. But, I think Keith Dambrod at Duquesne's going through it. Ronnie Everhart's a really good friend of mine at West Virginia. He dealt with it at Duquesne. He dealt with it at Nicholls State. And a lot of times you talk to your wife because they know you better than anybody. They know that you hate this feeling. And she actually laughed. She said, you're handling this better than year 1 at Fairmont State. You're actually – but when you have kids and stuff and you're getting older, put a little perspective on things. I think that helps. It's therapeutic. It's been – we need to become more of a team. Spend more time with these guys. I think she's excited about the chance to spend Thanksgiving and get 3-4 days where it's just your team and you're gelling with your guys. There's so many rules. The entertainment rule's good, so we took our guys to the Cavs game. But I'm a big proponent. Like I think, honestly, Dana, you should be able to have the kids over 2-3 times a week. But that's not occasional. According to the NCAA, that's not an occasional meal. It's too many. Those are the rules that I wish someday that we could do, because you spend more time with those guys, outside of basketball. And I think that's what this team needs and the program needs, and they got to learn how to win. Get this disease that's happened around here of losing. Get it out of here. Get it out.